Hey everybody, I'm back. I've done more long form in a row than I don't know when, but I'm having a blast going through this N Series box that was sent to me by Hasbro. Last time we talked about the Infinite, which I've just been having a ton of fun with. Every time I let someone new try it, who's not necessarily aware of the hobby space at all, they are into it. They think it looks cool, and they are very surprised at how hard it hits. So kind of cool to see those casual impressions. I'm going to be doing a short coming up soon where I talk about the fact that this has a sealed breech. I kind of missed that when I did the review, so keep an eye out for my YouTube shorts and I'll kind of show you some close-ups of that. Now, let's get into the Pinpoint. That's right, this is the Pinpoint. This is going to be a popular one, I know. Even though kind of a sliding prime mechanism, kind of bolt type thing is not my favorite. It's got a scope, it's got mags, it's got a long barrel. Kids are gonna eat it up. Here's a little look at the back of the box here. I'll also be able to give you a look at the new mags, which I am liking the design of. They have their pros and cons, but I think for being kid-friendly, it's more pro than con. Another little fun fact, when I first saw this blaster, just looking really quick, just because of the design of this big faux barrel up here, I actually thought it was a cylinder. I thought this was like something like the, oh my goodness, what's it called? The big long blaster with the cylinder in it, not the Raptor Strike. I don't know. You guys know. I'll put a note in the comments maybe. Let's open this blaster up and take a look at it in person. People have been curious about this because I think they're curious about the mags. Let's go. Whoa! Okay, right off the bat, to keep it compact, we have what I assume is a permanently installing barrel here. So let's put this on the right way. Yeah, I think it only has one way it can go here. Let's click that in. Am I doing it the right way? I don't want to break anything. Okay, yeah, it just had a kind of an unpleasant sound when it was clicking together. Here we have that because it has these little slides. This is something a lot of you would be familiar with. A lot of Nerf blasters do this. The Eagle Point does this. We'll screw these on here. This was, honestly, this blaster, full disclosure, when I was trying them out, was probably my least favorite, but it's probably the least targeted at me. I can fully acknowledge this one's gonna be a popular one. Here we have those new mags. Before I get into this blaster, let me give you a look at the new mags. Closer look at the mags. So this is a 10 rounder, I believe. You're basically looking at the top. It's a little bit like that ultra speed mag. These little indented pieces on either side, these are spring loaded and kind of catch these darts. So if you push on both of these, oh, wow, that actually shot all of them out really hard. So that was a full mag. But you take these darts. There is a right and a wrong way. There is a little orientation diagram on which way. I wish it was painted or something. It's really hard to see. I do foresee still kids loading these the wrong way, but that'll happen. I guess that's just hard to avoid. The mags only go in one way. It's kind of a shame they weren't either way. And again, we just take this foam and we just push them down in. I do love that, as opposed to trying to like push down and then sliding in a dart underneath the feed lips on the old mags. I think these are going to be much, much, much easier for people to load. It's also kind of nice that that foam is rigid enough that I can push those in. That's at max. How many did I get in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 round mag. Another kind of drawback is if you are shooting this blaster and you eject a mag before it's empty, you will lose a dart. Because when this loads in, it releases these springs, and without tension, they just want to all come out. So it's just like a Nerf rival mag. They work kind of the same way. Oh, I have a rival mag right here. So here we go, rival mag. We just push them in. And if we hit that detent, they will come out. So very similar. But there is a big advantage to that. When we go to load, now we can just take this and put it in. We don't have to prime the blaster to put that in. That is so great. From what I heard from Hasbro, kids were really into that too. They thought that was great because it's just not a natural thing for most kids to do. Like anything, you can learn to do it, but you want things to be as automatic as possible. Altogether, this blaster does look pretty cool. The stock for an adult is obviously a bit short. The sight, you know, the sight's kind of goofy, but like it's actually kind of fun to look through. It's a bit weird that we have an end strike rail up here, because what are you gonna put there that's not gonna get in the way of your scope? I wish that the end strike, yeah, end strike. I wish, I get all my terms confused. I wish that the end strike rail had been on the bottom. I don't know why it's on the top. If it had been on the bottom, we could have put a grip down there. We could have put a flashlight down there. I kind of looked at this to make sure that I wasn't putting it on backwards, but all the like styling and everything aligns, and it only goes on one way. You can't put it on upside down. I wish you could though. I do feel like that's a little bit of a weird miss. I don't know why these are on top, because this scope is not removable. This is part of the shell. This is permanently in there. I'm not a big fan of permanently integrated scopes either. It's one of the only things I don't like about the Dinosaur series, the Raptor Strike? No, Dino Strike? The T-Rex blaster. I'm looking at it. This guy. It's one of the only things I don't like. I wish it was N Strike. I wish it was removable. I like modularity. Anyway, I know there are some blasters coming in this series that have scopes and everything, so we won't have to wait long. You know, the grip's not too bad on this. We have the mag release. These do not, oh, like I said, this first dart is ready to fall out because I took it out. Oh, put it back in. The mags will not gravity drop. Gravity drop isn't really something we need in kids' toys because we don't want extra things landing on the ground. It's interesting that it's kind of an open trigger well here, but I will say it makes it pretty comfy. Let's prime this blaster. So you want to go all the way back to hear a click, all the way forward. I'm looking through the sight. You know, one cool thing about this sight, and with the new darts, and they hit pretty hard, right in the bear's mouth. Boy, it's actually kind of cool to use one of these blasters, like an 8+ Nerf blaster that's accurate enough that the built-in sight actually works for sighting. Maybe I'm liking this a bit more than I thought. One thing I did run into when I was using it down at Hasbro is, and I find this mechanism is always the way, you just gotta be really careful that you go all the way back and all the way forward. Like you gotta click that the extra bit. And boy, is that not a thing that kids naturally want to do. They naturally want to short stroke that return prime. And I mean, Hasbro knows that. They went so far as to make these kind of diagrams all about it, which I actually think are really great. I kind of want to make a bunch of copies of these and hand them out at the arena or games that I run, because that is a #1 problem for jams. As kids will say, my blaster's broken. It's not broken. I'm going to run this over the chronograph in a second, but I wonder if I can give you guys the same view I have through the scope. Let's try. So this is obviously going to be pretty hard to tell here, but I want to give you a little bit of a choice. I'm going to, using the camera, I'm aiming, kind of lining up my target thing with the top of the bear's head. And you can't really see where it hits though. Darn all the focuses. All right, I'm going to go a bit lower. I'm going to use the sight. It's hard for me to give you a good picture of what I'm seeing. So let me just take a few shots sighting here through the scope so you can get an impression. I'm gonna do a few more. I feel like I wasted my good ones trying to set up that camera thing. Again, I'm using the scope. I'm aiming for the top of the bear's head. You get the idea. All right, let's get some chrono readings. 91, 77, 74, 72, 86, 88, 86, and there we go. We had lots that were in that high 80s and 90s. We did have a couple 70s, but you know, inconsistencies happen. I actually like this blaster a lot more than I thought. With a little more time and playing around with it, I can definitely see running around the arena with this. I feel like this is gonna be a good price point. I'm gonna put the price down below. I didn't think to look it up beforehand, but you'll be able to read it right there. So I'll put that price in. I'm gonna guess that this one's gonna be a bargain. This one might feel a little cheaper, not so much in the body of it, but like around this scope and stuff, maybe. Little jam door down there. I like it more than I thought. So a lot of it comes down to, again, the darts. I do think the darts are not as accurate as I wish they were. You get a lot that kind of surprise you with like a hard dip one way or the other. They are much better than elite darts, but like any dart, they do kind of suffer from, if they get beat up a little bit, they get pretty inconsistent. I wouldn't say that these new darts are like the be all end all, like convert from all your other things so you can use those N1 darts. But I do think we do have some Nerf brand darts that are completely usable, which is good because they're the only things that work in these, which is part of the debate. I've talked about that a bit in the other videos. I'm not minding it too much as long as they keep those N1 darts at a good price point. I don't mind using these for casual play, and that's what these are. At some point when I'm done all these videos, I will get into maybe some modding and taking a look at things. But, you know, these are all a lot of fun, stock right out of the gate, and I think any kid that you handed these to would agree. So from an 8+ standpoint, for this one, I would definitely give this one a really good pass. So for, you know, adults in close quarters and goofing around with kids, this is a fun one. And the mag is so much more friendlier than other mags. So that's my scoop on the Pinpoint. This one's a little bit shorter. We're gonna go next. We're gonna do probably a combo video for the last 2 blasters in this series, or maybe I'll do a super series. Maybe each blaster, I feel so special about it, the whole experience, maybe we'll each get a video. But this is the Pinpoint. Sure, I wish the stock was a little extendable, but if you were to mod this, I bet you that we could come up with something there to extend that out. But it's not too bad. It is a kid's toy. I like it. Kind of surprised myself by having a lot of fun with it. And isn't that always nice? Until the next one, I look forward to your comments raging about the darts below. And I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you a little bit of what to expect. If you are curious, I'm going to guess that this is going to be a good one to try out because it'll give you a look at those new mags and everything. Until the next one, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. These blasters were all sent to me by Hasbro. I did not pay for these blasters, but they did not pay for my excitement.